In one sense, there hasn't been much going on here, but in another sense, there is always something happening in our house. Unfortunately, about 10 days after I started having strep symptoms, I passed it on to the rest of our family. So I guess the incubation period is very long, and there's a really bad strain of it going around our area. So Josh and all the girls have slowly come down with it. So it's been a full-time job just making sure everybody's free of pain as much as possible and cared for. We've been losing a lot of sleep with our toddler as she had one of the worst cases of it in our family. So along with that, we had a week of super cold weather. We actually had one final snow of the season, which I was not expecting. I'd kind of packed up everybody's winter gear already. So we made do with what I had, and note to self to not do that next time. But we had a snow, and I love seeing the mountains covered with snow, and it was very cozy. The only bad thing is because we had such an early and warm spring, a lot of the people in our area lost the fruit on their trees and some flowers. So some of the local farmers are reporting that their orchards have lost everything, which is super sad. It hasn't happened in the last 50 years. So that was a huge downside to the cozy winter weather that we had last week. We had some more sad news in our family. Unfortunately, yesterday, I found our kitty, one of our kitties, Harper, had been hit by a car just a few inches from our mailbox. And so it is always super sad to lose a pet, and we've had to cry a lot with the girls and work through all of those feelings and just be thankful for the life that they lived. She was actually the mom of the kittens that we adopted. So we started fostering those kittens, and then a few weeks later, we were asking some questions just about their parentage and if they knew who the mom was, and they were like, yeah, she's actually up for adoption at a PetSmart that was on our way home. And so we went and adopted her right away. And so it was so fun to give her a life with her and reunite her with her kittens. And she was very shy, but we shared lots of stories together of all her little quirks and the cute things that she did. We have lots of pictures of her, and we are so thankful for the time that we got with her. It's been really hard on the girls, and we buried her out under some trees with one of her other kittens who, when we were fostering them, when they were super tiny, he passed away. So the mom cat and one of her little babies have been reunited out there, and we are so thankful for our time with her, but very hard to work through with the girls and as a family, but we are thankful that she died without any pain and as quickly as it possibly could happen. So that was an answer to prayer. So I know I've talked a lot about outdoor projects that we're working on, but when we moved into this house, we actually did a few little renovation projects inside the house. And so I thought it would be fun to share those with you. They were the renovation of our two girls' bathrooms. So I will share more about the story of how that came to be and why we chose to do it when we did it. It's super fun to have two such beautiful rooms, and whenever people come over that know we did this project, I always have to show them the rooms, which is not normally a part of the house that you show a lot of guests, but we love them. They're beautiful. They're very functional. We like how they turned out. So I thought I would do an episode on just what we did, maybe some things I would change next time if I were to do it again, but the things that I really love. And I did a lot of research on Pinterest and Instagram, and so here's what we did in case you want to copy some of that in a future renovation of your own. So when we bought this house about 6 months ago, we had some temporary housing, so we didn't have to move in right away. And so Josh and I asked ourselves, are there any projects that we want to try and get done before we move in, before we bring all 6 girls over? Now, something you need to know about me is that I have never done a renovation in my life. Growing up, we moved a lot. My parents always bought houses that were just ready to move in. They weren't staying long enough to renovate them. And then in our house in Georgia, we were there for 12 years, but we kind of bought it move-in ready. And then we did some painting and stuff, but I've never renovated a bathroom, never renovated a kitchen. So I was a complete newbie at all of this. And I discovered quickly it's one thing to save ideas on Pinterest or Instagram of things you love, and it's a whole nother world to make decisions that you need to live with for a very long time. And I did want to choose things that I would want to live with for a very long time. I wanted this to kind of be the last time I would renovate whatever room we chose, and something that I would love and would be classic enough to last us many decades. Upstairs, there were 3 bedrooms that my 6 girls were going to be sharing, and there was 1 bathroom for those 3 bedrooms. And then there was a primary bedroom with kind of an ensuite bathroom. And so right away, I knew that having a second bathroom for 6 girls would be a huge blessing. So there was a laundry room. I'm actually standing in what was the laundry room, and it had a hookup for a propane dryer, and my dryer was electric. And running the electrical outlet that would be needed up here was going to be very expensive. So we decided long-term, we wanted our garage to be turned into kind of a mudroom, laundry room, and maybe some type of crafting art space. And so we decided to move the laundry stuff down into the garage. And that would free up this room to be a second bathroom for my 6 girls. There was already a drain in here for the washer. There was already water. And in my mind, I was like, how hard can it be to change a laundry room into a bathroom? Well, I know you're probably laughing. It was a lot harder than I thought. So I thought I would show you where we landed with these bathrooms and what we chose. Again, this was my first renovation of any kind. Josh is very handy, and I knew he had done tiling work and some bathroom work, so we thought he would do most of the work himself. And he did get the demoing done, he got the plumbing done, and then we quickly realized we might need to hire some help to get things finished because he was working full time at this time. I had the 6 girls. We were trying to live 45 minutes away and commute back and forth, and it was just a lot. And so because I thought Josh was going to do most of the work himself and he was going to do it as fast as possible, I felt like I had to make decisions really quick. And so I was making design choices. And again, I'm a newbie. I have no design experience. I am not a visualizer, so I don't look at things and see like what it could become. I basically have to find a picture and copy exactly what I want from that picture. So working on these 2, or working on this bathroom and not really having any idea what I'm doing, and also making decisions from this other house we were living in was a lot. But I wanted to order stuff so that Josh could just get it done as quickly as possible. Now, in hindsight, I did not need to worry about that. This project ended up taking probably 3 or 4 months, even with hiring help at the end. So I could have taken more time in choosing things, but thankfully, I've ended up being happy with almost everything I've chosen. But I thought in this video, I'd show you what I chose, what I would change if I could go back, which there's not much, but there's a few things. Knowing what I know, I'm happy with what we have, but some things I would change, and so maybe you can learn from those things. There were a few things early on that I decided on that kind of guided the rest of my decisions. So the first choice I made was that I wanted this bathroom, which was going to be a bathroom for my 3 oldest daughters, who are all teenagers now. I wanted to have a wet room style shower and have a small soaking tub in that wet room shower. A wet room is kind of a sloped floor that leads to a drain, and so the whole room can get wet. You can, clean the tub and stuff, and the water is going to run down into the drain. And so in some cultures, people would shower first and then get into the bath. But for me, I wanted the shower, but then I wanted a little tiny space where if my older girls wanted to take a bath, just if they were cold or whatever, they could have that. So I found a tiny, adorable clawfoot tub, soaking tub, that fit into this space. And so a lot of my choices centered around that tub. I also know that I wanted kind of a cottagey look in this room. And so I went with a penny tile floor, and I wanted a penny tile floor with a design in it. And so I found a green tile. Surprisingly, there aren't a ton of color choices in penny tile. So I found a green that was the closest I could get to kind of a sagey green, which was what I was wanting. And I picked a lot of my color choices around that tile. So let me show you around what we call the green bathroom and what I chose, what I would pick again, and maybe what I would change if I were you doing a renovation. Overall, I've been really happy with what I chose, which I think is a miracle because, like I said, I have no experience doing this. I'm definitely not a designer, and I didn't have the money to hire a designer, but I do have friends that I texted and asked questions of. But overall, I really love how these bathrooms turned out. So like I said, the penny tile flooring was a design choice I knew I wanted, and I kind of wanted to design the rest of the bathroom around. So what we did is we had the tile guys, which we did hire out the tile work. We had them lay in the thin set, just the white penny tile pieces. And then that night, Josh marked the design into the white pieces, and he and I picked one by one every white piece out and inserted a green tile in its place. And it was incredibly painstaking work. We stayed up really late, but I didn't feel like the tile guys were necessarily going to get my vision for the tile. And so this was the best way to just get exactly what we wanted. So another thing I chose was the wet room design, which just means that the flooring slopes towards a drain. And I wanted kind of a zero entry into the wet room. And that is actually something I would change if I could go back. I did not realize, I didn't care necessarily, but instead of having a little bit of a tile wall that separated the sloping floor from the rest of the bathroom floor, I chose to just have the zero entry. And that actually made it really hard for them to get the slope of the floor right, because we started off level with the bathroom floor. And so it was really difficult to get the wet room part to lower. Whereas if I had added just that little, I'm not even sure what it's called, but a little raised up tiled piece in between, they could have started the bottom of the slope at equal with the rest of the bathroom floor and just raised up the sides a little bit. So looking back, I would have done that. I was not tied at all to the zero entry necessarily. I just thought it would look easier and there wouldn't be those corners of the tile piece that I needed to keep clean. But looking back, I would choose it differently. For the wet room walls, I chose just a classic subway tile, and I would definitely still choose this again. I was kind of going for classic over very trendy. I know there's a lot of really beautiful, colorful subway tiled and just colorful tiled showers in general. And I definitely could have gone that route, but for me, I just wanted something kind of plain and simple. And then I chose kind of a gray grout for both the floor and the walls. On top of wanting this to be beautiful, I really wanted it to be easy to keep clean. And so far it has been, but I knew if I chose a light grout color, that was going to be more difficult to maintain than a darker color. So I was happy with the color. It may not be the most artistic choice in the world, very basic, but it has worked for us. I did have a niche put into the shower wall for all of my girls' toiletries. Very happy with that choice. I don't care if they're in right now or not, but with 3 teen girls, we have a lot of products. And so the way I had this set, the shower curtain pretty much blocks it all the time. So when you look in to the bathroom, you don't see all of this. Whereas if I had put it on the wall opposite of the door, it would have been much more visible. So very happy with how this turned out. Highly recommend. The clawfoot tub really adds a ton of character to this bathroom. Love it. It's tiny, but so cute and really a focal point of the bathroom. And it gives my girls the option to take a bath if they want to. I will say that the overflow drain is very low, so it does not get the tub full. And so right now I have this thing kind of blocking it, but I've looked into maybe permanently blocking it because the tub is sitting on the sloped floor. So if it does overflow, it's just going to go down the shower drain. So the overflow drain is not really needed in this case, and it would allow them to get a much fuller tub if they wanted to. So probably shouldn't be saying that on the internet, probably against code, but that's something I've been looking into. For the shiplap siding in the room, we did a waterproof shiplap, which the guy who installed it for us recommended that it would hold up to moisture better. And then I ordered these shaker pegs and painted them, and we installed those on our own. Those go all the way around the bathroom, so tons of storage for towels, for hair towels, for other things that might be hanging on the wall. I thrifted some little hanging baskets, and there are Q-tips and flossers in those, so lots of options for hanging stuff, keeping it up off the counter. And then another thing I had to get to make everything fit was kind of a compact toilet, and it's really cute. It's pretty small though, and I don't think it would work for most adults, but for my teen girls, it works fine. And it fit in the space that it needed to fit in. And I was really set on getting like an apron, I guess it would be called, on the toilet so that the plumbing wasn't exposed, making it easier to clean. That was a wish I had after dealing with regular toilets for many, many years, something that wouldn't catch as much dirt and dust. So the vanity that we have in here is actually an IKEA hack that I found on a blog, and I will link that blog in the description box. And I'm pretty sure we followed the blog post exactly. Maybe I think I chose a little bit of a narrower drawer piece just to make it fit better in this bathroom. But we followed that, and then they had a farmhouse, a little tiny farmhouse sink linked, super cute. And we bought that. And that is one thing, if I could go back, I would probably change. I've never had a farmhouse sink before, but if you have, you probably know like those corners get stuff stuck in them. And my teen girls aren't necessarily good about keeping it rinsed out all the time. And it's way bigger than they need. They don't need this. So this would make a really cute utility sink. But personally, I would probably use something smaller. If I could go back, if I knew I had more time, I would probably find an old dresser and refinish it and get like a top put on it as a vanity, because I think that would fit the look I'm going for a little bit more. But as it is, this is very functional. It's very sturdy. My girls all have storage in it, and so I'm very happy with it. It was much less expensive than buying a ready-made vanity, but refinishing something myself probably would have been cheaper. Okay, so I chose my paint color in conjunction with my penny tile. So like I said, the penny tile green was kind of my jumping point to all my other colors. So I chose this really moody, pretty green. And originally I had the walls white and then the siding and vanity painted green. And after a few months of just looking at it, because this has stayed unfinished, this part of it, the part I'm doing myself, has stayed unfinished for a very long time. I decided to try painting the walls the green color. I have kind of a Swiss cross stencil design that I wanted to do, and I thought I would do it in green on the white walls. But after looking at some pictures, I thought I might do it in white on the green walls. And I was really happy once I painted this room. It gets a lot of light, so it's not at all a dark room. And I love kind of the color drenching, especially because of the white subway tile. There's a lot of white in the second half of the room. So having a lot of color in this first half has been really nice. So I do need to add a second coat of green paint to the walls, and then I need to stencil the design on them. And then I'll pretty much actually be done with this bathroom, which is amazing. And it's only taking me almost a year, but still, I think the choices I've made, I'm really happy with, and I won't have to think about redoing them, hopefully ever. The last thing, and I will just show a video of it because it's too bright over there to film, but my girls did not really like showering next to the open window. Now that window is 3 stories up and our whole backyard is pretty much empty, but there is a house on a hill to the south that technically, if they had binoculars, they could see in the window. So they definitely did not want that window uncovered, which I totally understand. So we had just a cheap curtain up there. It was blue, it didn't match anything in here, with the idea that I would make another curtain for that window eventually. But then I thought about using kind of a frosted glass look. I would love to do like a stained glass look, and maybe that can be a project for a later day. But I found just some really cheap frosted contact paper, I guess you would call it, in a really cute kind of cottage design. So I got that, and Josh actually just installed that last week, and I love the look of it. I love doing that. It's hard in this house to ever cover up a window because the views are so beautiful. But if they were gonna have a curtain up there anyways, it's gonna be covered no matter what. And this way, it's very clean looking, very minimal looking, still lets a lot of the light in. So highly recommend it, love it. We'll probably use it in other places in the house where we need a little bit of privacy, but don't wanna have curtains hanging up. Along with making it beautiful, a huge thing that's concerned me over the years and having lots of little kids is it easy to clean? Because if it's not clean, I'm not really going to enjoy it. And so in the past, I've always valued function over beauty. So if something was really hard to clean, I did not want it. I wanted what was easy. And that was really great in our house in Georgia when I had tons of little kids and I knew this was not my final stop in a house. But now that we're in this house and we're thinking long-term, we're gonna have this house in our family and our grandkids will come home to it, I wanted to make sure that I was taking the time to think about what I found beautiful in a house and not just making functional choices. So for me, a clawfoot tub would not necessarily be a great function choice. The feet are on the floor, things can get stuck around them, but I remedied that by having it in the wet room design. So I can spray off that whole area. I actually use my spin mop to clean the walls and the floor and get that all nice and clean. And so that made a huge difference with being able to choose the beautiful thing, but it also be functional. Again, I made that decision when I chose the gray grout. If I could go back, the farmhouse sink isn't super easy to keep clean. It just needs someone caring about it. And to be honest, I'm really the only one who cares. But I have been amazed overall how easy it is to keep this bathroom clean. My girls all have long hair. They shower in here every night. There was a point where me and Josh's shower was not working. And so we were showering in here too. And I was just amazed at how clean it stayed. And when I do clean it, how easy it is to clean. So I think the wet room design has a lot to do with that. The penny tile, the gray grout, everything, the painted walls has been really helpful in keeping it clean. So I felt like it was a great balance of function, making sure it's easy to keep clean, but also beautiful and something I enjoy looking at. So when we did the green bathroom, we ran into some trouble with the toilet plumbing. I did not realize that toilet plumbing is like wider, which makes sense, but we had to cut into the floor of the bathroom next door to be able to access that toilet plumbing. So we ripped up this linoleum floor and we were like, well, why don't we just go ahead and pick something we like? If we're gonna redo the floor, let's make sure we like it. So I picked a penny tile design that coordinated with this penny tile design, but was in a blue, and loved that, and decided we would paint the walls blue and stuff. But then I found a clawfoot tub that fit perfectly in the space where the tub goes for really cheap on Facebook Marketplace. And not only that, but all of the, I'm not sure what you call the sprayer and faucet, the hardware, I think there's another word, but all of that came with it. And sometimes that can be really expensive. So I found the tub that came with all of that. We ripped out just the basic tub shower insert thing and put that little clawfoot tub in there. And so loved that. It totally changed the room. We just painted the oak vanity that was already in there to kind of match the walls and the siding, but have been super happy with getting to have both bathrooms done. So we call that the blue bathroom. That's our little girl's bathroom. And in the future, I'm going to add the shower head for the clawfoot tub and the curtain that goes around it. But that wasn't an immediate need right now because the little girls don't really shower, and then a lot of times they just use me and Josh's tub in our room because it's a bigger kind of jacuzzi style tub that they like to play in. So that's down the road, and I could see myself maybe refinishing a dresser as a vanity for that bathroom since I didn't replace the vanity, but definitely not worrying about that now. It's functional, it's beautiful, we love it. It has a huge closet in that bathroom, which I've never had so much bathroom storage before. Has been really nice. And then on the white walls, I am planning on doing a floral stencil design, kind of a pink rose with green leaves. I have all the supplies to do that. I just need to take the time to do it. So on my Instagram, I've started making myself finish projects that I've started a series. And so those are going to be some things that hopefully you see in the future on that series. So those are two girls' bathrooms, my first renovation project ever, my first decorating project ever, and shockingly, I still love what I chose, even though I had to choose all of it without seeing the pieces. Pretty much the only thing, I think I forgot to mention this, the only thing I did choose after it was all put together was the fabric for the curtain that I made for that apron sink. And I belabored over that choice so badly because I didn't have my picture of what I was copying exactly. And so I made this little curtain. It was kind of my first curtain making project, and I made it a little bit short, but maybe I'll add like a ruffle on the bottom. And then I'm planning on tacking the sides to the edge of the vanity so that it stays shut looking. So that was a little part I forgot to say. But overall, love the choices, and I will link the blog post I talked about, plus anything that I bought that's available in the description box, so that if you're considering a bathroom renovation and you want to copy what was done here, that will make it easier for you.